100 ways to live below your means, 100 ways to cut back your expenses. It's that time of the year where we are cleaning out our finances. We are taking a look at our expenses and looking for ways to cut back. Well, I have searched through the whole internet. I had help. This is a full, robust list of ways you can cut back your expenses. Now, there's nothing new under the sun. You've probably heard of some of this, and that is why everything is timestamped in the description below. Skip through the areas where you don't need work and focus on the areas where you need help. Throughout the year, if at any point you feel as though you need to do some more cutting back or tightening up, then come back to this video and get additional tips to cut back in other areas. All right, let's go. Ooh, wait. If you learn anything, then go ahead and hit the like button. And if this is your kind of thing, you love the vibe, you love the channel, then feel free to subscribe. We definitely need you. To really cut back expenses this year, embrace the minimalist lifestyle. No, we're not talking about living in an empty house with nothing on the wall and only have 3 pairs of pants. We're talking about adopting the minimalist mindset. The mindset of less is more. We've spent so many years buying. We spent all of last year buying. We've bought so many shoes, so many bags, so many clothes, so many trinkets and house decor and home decor, so many things. The list goes on. This year, adopt that mindset of, I already have most of what I need. So let me save my money for things I truly do not have and for things that truly do matter. Adopting that mindset of, I will use what I have, and I already have most of what I need. What is now being called the underconsumption core will keep you from giving into that temptation of spending. Delaying non-essential purchases by giving yourself time. Impulse spending is banking on irrational thinking. You see it, you want it, you buy it. Put a pause to that. Give yourself some sort of space, be it a 24-hour rule, be it a leave it in a cart for a while, or be it a, if I see it back here tomorrow, then I'll buy it. DIY personal care as much as you can. This is haircuts, hair treatment, your waxing, your mani pedi, whatever it is. Or if you must go to the salon, for maybe those expensive treatments, or if you must go wherever you go, limit that as much as possible to rather than every other week or twice a month, you're cutting it back to once a month or once every 2 months. Try to do as much as you can on your own. Avoid putting unnecessary purchases on credit cards. I'm pro credit cards, but if you already have a balance, you have no business putting non-essential on credit card. And I say non-essential because we can argue out the essential. I can't pay my water bill. I can't pay my light bill. I'm not even going to go there. I'm talking about your non-essential. If you already have credit card balance, there's no reason why you should be buying anything that does not require you, that's not required to keep you alive. Buying, I don't need to break it down. I think we all know what is not required. That extra pair of pants is not, that makeup is not. Even if you have an event coming up, you have a closet full of clothes. Make it work. Really take advantage of discounts, clearance, and sales to really cut back your expenses. I just bought Christmas outdoor mats for 49 cents. 2 of them for 49 cents each. Come Christmas, my home will be fully decorated, and I can guarantee you I spent 1/4 of what the average person spends on Christmas, and it's mostly because I buy off season. Repair items instead of replacing them. I know these days it's hard to find places to do repairs, and in some cases it may be cheaper for you to go ahead and buy rather than repair. But in a lot of cases, chances are repairing items will save you a lot more than buying a new one. So take the time out to look up repair stores. If you need a seamstress to replace zippers, buttons, or sew up a hole or a rip, or if you need phone repair whatsoever, take time to just Google, see what you have around you, and that could possibly save you, not just for now, it'll save you money down the road when you need future repairs. When you do use credit cards, because I do advocate for using rewards from credit cards and cashbacks, use them responsibly. Yes, you may be getting cashbacks or you may be getting rewards, but it's still spending. So be mindful of what you're spending on and how much you're spending. DIY personal care as much as you can. We're talking haircuts, we're talking mani-pedis, we're talking hair treatments or waxing, whatever personal care you do as much as you can on your own. That will save you a lot of money. And if you must go to the salon, then limit how often you go. Maybe rather than 4 times a year, cut it back to twice a year. Get into the habit of finding alternatives before you buy. When something arises that you need, you haven't needed it all your life, and now you need it. Ask friends and family if they have it, if you could use theirs, and then return. Have patience. Ask neighbors, see if you could use theirs, and then return rather than buying. Number one, and which is what I'm doing this year, under consumption. Yes, this is where Lovett needs to tighten up. My portion control for everyone, the kids' lunch, their snacks, my lunch, my snack. Portion control is crazy, right? So I am this year I'm under consuming. I'm reducing how much I serve. And then if they finish it and want more, then there's more. And also not just in how much I serve, how much I make. Because once it becomes leftover, as much as we try to eat leftover, we know what happens to a lot of leftovers, right? It goes in the fridge, and especially if they don't like the food, then this year I'm very focused on reducing the portion I make, reducing the portion I dish out, and what I put for school and what I put for snacks. Underconsumption reduces how much you use, thereby making your grocery last the entire week or however amount of groceries you bought, which saves you money. Plan your meals so that you buy accordingly and save money because you're only buying what you need. Avoid impulse grocery buying, impulse grocery purchases, and you can do that a lot by shopping online. Of course, cook at home. Cooking at home will save you a lot more than ordering food in. It doesn't mean you never order food in, but if you limit it to maybe once a week, so you give yourself that wiggle room for ordering food out, but cook most of your meals at home. Eat more plant-based. And listen, this is hard for my Nigerian self, where uh, a lot of our meals has protein, has not protein, has a meat, some kind of meat. There has to be meat. But adopt plant-based meals a lot more throughout the week. It will save you money because listen, the price of chicken and goat and cow, trust me, it's expensive. However way you split it, start off with 2 nights a week, where or 2 days a week where you're not using any meat, that you will see a difference in your wallet. I hate these, but it does save money. Use coupons and cash apps to save money on grocery. Anything that requires me putting them on my phone when I'm shopping or requires me to, I don't know, anything that requires me putting them on my browser is a no do for me, but maybe it is for you. So consider using those apps to shop for your groceries. Buy in bulk for non perishable items. The less you go to the store, the better. And non perishable item that you use often, choose generic brands. This is the basis of me saving money in groceries. Generic brands. There are a few things that generics don't cut it and they don't taste good. Not as good as the non as a brand name, but in most cases, the generic will cut it just fine. So choose generic to greatly reduce your grocery bill. Shop at discount stores and grocery outlets, and we know of the Aldis and the Lidls and the Walmarts. I don't know if we can consider Walmart a discount store. No, it isn't. Where you shop is the number one factor in terms of price. Pack your own lunch to work. I pack lunch for two of my kids, but for my oldest, she would get school lunch because listen, I'm already having to pack lunch for two due to allergies. Let's just save me the headache. Until I realized in 1 year we spent how much was it, 500? I'm like, what? In what are you eating at school, right? It just adds up. You put in $20, then $30 and $50, and just like that in a year, I think it was 500, or was it more than that? And that was it. That was the end of her packing lunch to school. I've been packing her. No, that was the end of her eating lunch at school. I've been packing her lunch ever since. Yeah, true story. So pack your lunch, their lunch, everyone's lunch. Pack lunch to school. You're already paying for the groceries at the store. Now, if whatever reason there was a season in life where okay, so what? It costs us $500 for her to eat at school. That's what it is because Loveth is not taking on additional work. So depending on what you have going on, this may not be where you're cutting back expenses because for your own well-being, because mama, you have so many things on your plate, you don't need to add on lunch, then that's fine. Avoid buying pre-packaged foods and items. They're always more expensive than the non-packaged ones. And also, if you're buying bottled water, gallon water, I know when I was buying gallon water, I was buying from Walmart where we can refill our gallon for 37 cents. And then they upped that to 60 something cents and it started not making sense. So we stopped doing that. You can always buy the filter from, once again, Amazon and refill. refill at home rather than having to buy bottled water. You have your Stanley, you have your cups, refillable cups or reusable cups. Use that. So buy you the filter at the store, at Amazon, and use your tap water, filter it rather than buying gallons of water and bottles of water. Eat less processed food. The processed food always costs more, period. There's no way we can not eat processed food, but try to minimize the amount of processed food you consume. All this will cut back your grocery bill. Set a payment plan for your debt. I know this isn't reducing your living expenses right now, but it is cutting down your future expenses. Imagine no longer having to pay $300 to debt or $500 to debt. That's giving yourself a pay raise, really, because now you have released that money for something else that is worthwhile than paying someone else and making someone else rich. Something you could consider doing is getting a 0% interest rate card. Now, this is only if you are sure that you have things in place to pay it off within the amount of time, 12 months, 18 months. If you're sure, you know what, I've got me a second job, I've reduced my expenses so much where I'm guaranteed that if I put in 500 every month for the next 12, 18 months, I will pay it all off, then it is worth it to do that. You have to be sure, you have to already have things in place. This is not a card you get because you're hoping you'll pay it off in 18 months. No, no, no. Because after the 18 months, after the 12 months, the interest rate on these cards, chances are they are much higher than your current card, right? So this is just a way to help you pay off the debt faster. So every payment you make is hitting the amount you owe and not splitting it between interest and the amount you owe. This is making sure every single dime is going towards what you owe. You could also consolidate the debt. Now, this is not even regarding the 0% interest rate credit card. This is just rather than making 5 different payments of 5 different cards, having just one card and consolidating all your debt into one so you can focus all your energy and payments to that one. You end up paying it down a lot faster because you're channeling all your focus, all your payments to one card rather than splitting it into 5 different places and they're taking 5 different interest payments. And of course, when possible, make extra payments towards your debt. Yes, it doesn't reduce your expenses now, but like I said, it would reduce your future expenses. Create and stick to a monthly spending plan. That's a guaranteed way to live below your means. Routinely review your spending to identify ways you are misspending, misusing your money, wasting your money. If you need to, use budgeting apps to help automate your spending. There are several. There is YNAB, you need a budget app. There is Mint, there is Everyday Dollar or Every Dollar app. There's several, and I think I will do a video later on about the different apps that can help you with your budgeting and spending. Set clear savings goal. When you have a goal, you're motivated to hit the goal. You're more likely to make the sacrifices needed to hit the goal, which means you're more likely to live below your means to cut back your expenses. To avoid overspending, use cash for your discretionary spending. It's a lot more difficult to overspend when you're using cash. It's more finite. It also reminds you that you are spending compared to swiping your card. Avoid lifestyle inflation as your income grows. Somehow you've been fine with your previous income. Should your income increase at any point this year, make it a point to yourself to not spend the new increase. Put that into savings or put that into something else other than the stores. Focus on your needs over your wants when you're making a financial decision. It could be as small as spending at the store or as big as figuring out how your paycheck will be spent. Focus on your needs over your wants. Review your insurance coverage. Shop around, see if you can get the same coverage or even better coverage for a better price. Of course, that's not just with insurance, that's with everything. Shop around to see if you can get a better deal and see how much discount you can get for bundling up, your internet and your cable or your car and your house insurance coverage. Shop around to get as much discount as you can. Now, take it with a grain of salt. This only applies if you're in dire need of reducing your rent or your mortgage, downsizing. You may not need all that room. I know one of the things we do here in the States is thinking every child needs a room. No, they can share. And if at any time, God forbid, if anything should happen where we can only afford a two-bedroom, heck, we're bunking it up. So downsides, you may not need all those rooms. Downside to have a cheaper rent, cheaper mortgage. I say this with another grain of salt: is rent out space you don't need. Be safe. I always say that. Be safe. With be careful with who you rent out. But if you have additional room, you have a friend who needs a space, then go ahead and rent out the room to get additional to get some money. It may ruin your friendship, but you will get money either way. So it all works out. Consider moving to an area with lower cost of living. It makes a whole lot of difference. I know I'm about to move into an area with higher cost of living due to school district and make your home more energy efficient. It will show up in your utility bills, save you a lot more money. We're talking lights, your LED bulbs. We're talking making sure you don't have cold air coming through the doors, making sure Amazon now has those things you put under your door to insulate the room or the house a lot more so you're not pumping air in or hot air in or cool air in, and yet you're sabotaging yourself because your windows don't close well or your doors don't close well. Also, your appliances, especially if you're in the habit of buying used appliances, or you shop at the thrift store, or when you do buy new appliances from here on out, make sure that they are energy efficient so that you're not buying appliances that will end up you're saving money on the appliance, but then your electricity bill goes up. And so then it's penny wise, pound foolish. If you can, install programmable thermostat. I can talk. If you can, install programmable thermostat in your house. When you've been talking, the words that sticking together, uh, that will save you money when it comes to heating and cooling your home. Reduce water usage in your house. Try as much as possible. I mean, we waste water in so many ways. When you're brushing, the tap is running. When you're doing dishes, while you're applying soap on the dish, the tap is running. When your kids are washing their hand, the tap is. There's so many ways we waste. So take a look at your lifestyle. Be very diligent with your water usage and how much you use. I know I am, because the water bill is going up and I'm having to stay on everyone. That's a lot of water running. Try and use low flow, especially with when you're doing dishes and washing hand. You don't need the tap running so high. I try to tell my kids all the time, you don't need it a full blast. And in the shower, I'm sorry, I can't let that go. I take my time in the shower. I love my shower. That's the only me time I get. So let's reduce as much as you can. Try to reduce your water usage, and that will save you money on your water bill. You probably already know this. Unplug electric appliances when they are not in use. If you're still plugged into the wall, I don't know how or why, but supposedly it's still pulling energy. So if you're done using it, your air fryer, your toaster, your coffee maker, unplug. I do this very well. I unplug immediately, because I use a lot of lights. So that's my way of kind of trying to reduce my electricity. Everything gets unplugged except the fridge. Not just your kitchen, all over the house. Your phone charger. I wonder if that is more efficient since it's a newer thing. But unplug everything when it's not in use. Avoid impulse purchases on entertainment. Listen, I'm a mom. A lot of my entertainment is in the house with mi familia. And a lot of times there are things I would see and immediately I'm like, oh, yes, that would be a fun thing to do at home. But then I always have to double check. Okay, it's fun the first time. Would it still be handy the second time? Think about when it's in use, when it's in play. That reminds me, I was actually going to pay for an experience that I've been wanting to experience. I've been wanting to leave the house and experience, but the price did not make sense. It did not make sense. I really wanted to have that experience with hubby, but as much as I wanted to have that experience, I just thought to myself, we could get the same experience somewhere else at a cheaper price. I'm not going to say what it is in case it's a future sponsor, and because I still want the experience, but right now it's just not my cup of tea. The way my wallet is set up for this year, I'm not paying that much for that experience this year. I will do something else that still gives me kind of the same experience. It may not be high up, still on the ground, but it's still going to be an experience and it's a lot cheaper. So be mindful before you make impulse purchases on entertainment. Yes, we want to feel good. Yes, we want to have a good time, but we have to draw the line at how much we're willing to shell out for fun. Speaking of fun, borrow books, movies, and music and DVDs, videos from the library. My library has baking pans. Yes, baking pans that you could rent out. So Valentine's Day is coming up. They have heart-shaped pans, teddy bear. What Christmas that just went by, they would have all this Christmas baking pan and cookie cutters. So instead of buying them for something I would only use once a year, I can rent from the library the heart-shaped baking pan and the donut shape or whatever shape, and use that for Valentine's Day and not spend a penny from my wallet for something that will sit in my cupboard all year round, right? So check out the library, as I always say, for additional fun, even the games, rather than buying it at the store. Check it out. We tried out a new game and realized we love the game. So now, if I want to buy it at a store, I would. But why would I when I can always get it from the library? We play, get sick of it, and return. Find free hobbies and activities. Some hobbies can be very expensive. My kids got into crocheting. I can't tell you how much I've spent in buying yarn. So now I'm realizing crocheting is not cheap. Buying it is just for a time. Those don't get sick of it and not crochet as much. We be crocheting left and right. But find free hobbies and activities that wouldn't cost you a lot. Hiking, see if there's a walking group. Be careful with the walking groups. Make sure it's more than one. You don't want to go for a walk and not come back. You know what I mean? So be careful with them hiking groups and walking group. Make sure it is a group. But the more idle you are, the more likely you are to spend, and the more likely you are to spend in the hopes that it fills you up with the happy hormone, because you're doing nothing but just sitting idle, go to work, come back. That's it. Host game nights with your friends instead of going out. Instead of going dining out, have everyone bring something and have a potluck at home. Both will save you money, cut back your expenses on entertainment. If you must go out to eat, if you must go out for fun, use apps to find discounts on entertainment, on dining out. Groupon is a good one. I always mention all the time. If there are other ones, I will list those on the screen. Participate in loyalty programs for rewards. If there are certain shops that you frequent, does that make sense? If there are shops you frequently shop at, then sign up for the loyalty program, because it then would be worthwhile. You're not shopping there because you have the loyalty program. You're getting into the loyalty program because you already shop there all the time. That will save you money. That will give you some sort of discount down the road, or earn you some sort of reward that will cut back your costs in future purchases. Take advantage of community free events, and not just for fun. Take advantage of those free community workshops and courses that your local library may be offering. I've done this. A lot of local libraries will offer maybe sewing classes or language classes or tech or woodwork. There are a plethora of classes different local libraries offer. So take advantage of that, not just for entertainment, whatever they have for entertainment. You get to meet people, but then you also get to up your skills. I know one of the subscribers, Fire with Ninja Turtle, that I mentioned in a previous video, he's actually hosting a finance class in his local library. So check out your local library and see what courses they have to offer. Cut the cord. Use streaming device instead of cable. If you're currently still using cable, take a look at your watching patterns. How many channels are you actually watching? Perhaps it will be a lot cheaper for you to just get that streaming device, get a streaming device that offers you the movies if you're currently just watching movie channels, or if you're just watching a certain entertainment channel. I haven't watched cable in a long time, so I can't even remember. Back then, my channels were E and Bravo and OWN and TLC, and I left a long time ago. But I was pretty much just watching entertainment, whatnot, and lifestyle shows. So I was good with YouTube. YouTube definitely satisfied that craving with all them vlogs. So take a look at your watching pattern. You may be okay with the streaming devices, and I know a lot of them now. Some of them have sports as well, and some have 24/7 news. So you may be a lot cheaper going the streaming route rather than sticking with cable. Share streaming subscription with friends and family. For those that still allow it, at least for now, that they still allow it, feel free to share your username and password. I know some of them will allow a couple household, 1 or 2 households, and that's it. So feel free to get together with friends or family members and share your subscription. Cancel unused gym membership. I know you think this is the year you will use it. You haven't been using it all these years. You won't. How about this? Use your YouTube workout videos, use your free workout tutorials on Instagram. A lot of fitness trainers on Instagram would have a couple workouts for free. I'm sure it's on TikTok as well. I'm not on TikTok. I'm sure it's on there as well. Use those, and if you've been consistent on it for 3 months, or 6 months, then go ahead and sign up for a gym membership. That way, you've proven to yourself that you are sticking to the workout rather than thinking you will force yourself to work out because you're paying for it. You haven't done it all these years. It probably won't start now. Consider exercising outside, going for a walk outside, or if you have a yard, this is a good way to make use of your yard. Maybe mow your lawn, and that'll be your exercise. Make use of the outdoors, the free natural gym we have, which is outdoors, your parks, your backyard as your gym. Use preventative care to avoid medical emergencies. That word. But don't forgo your annual checkups. I know for us, especially, I can only speak for myself and what I know as a mom, we're so busy. We're good at keeping the kids' checkups and making sure they go to their appointments. But for us, somehow we let it slide. And for men too, I think men are worse. You're busy with everything else but your health. Go for your annual checkups, especially if you're coming up in age. You have to start doing that colonoscopy. You have to do all the tests. Stay on it. It saves lives. Stay on it to avoid medical emergencies. Also, take good care of yourself in general. Eating well. What do you consume? What you consume? What you consume? All the consumes. Be mindful of that, because when you feed your body trash, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost your wallet in terms of medical care. Feed your body the right thing, the nutritional thing. Stay healthy, stay well. And that way you don't have to have all these medications you have to take, be it now, be it down the road. Speaking of medications, if you do, or when you do need to buy medications, choose generic. Now, there was a time after watching the documentary, I was very iffy about generics because when I heard where they were coming from and the things that could be. So what I do, because generic is so cheaper, a lot of these meds are so expensive, it makes no sense. And my kids are getting to the age now where I can't buy regular size because the dosage they use, they take it 4 times and the med is finished. So I have to buy a big size, right? So what I now do is I compare the active ingredient in the meds. I compare the active ingredient in the generic and the brand name, and I go with that. If it has a comparable amount, as in the same amount, then I'm fine going with a generic. Or there's some generics where I question all the inactive ingredients. I don't like all the extras in there, a lot of dyes or whatnot. Then I will close my eyes and pay money for the main brand deal, right? But for a lot of it, I say generic, it saves you money. Compare healthcare providers for best rates. Having insurance sometimes makes us lazy, because we're so used to most of our medical providers are covered, for general care. But every now and then when you have to do something that is out of the ordinary or you have to see a specialist, make sure you call and make sure they are covered. I know it's time consuming no one likes calling insurance. No one likes calling customer service for anything. I don't, right? But it's worth it because it's better you spend some time on the phone confirming that provider is under the coverage and verifying how much you have to pay out of pocket or how much insurance will cover, than to go for their services only to get, the bill. And it's like, what the heck, right? Use telehealth services for non-urgent issues. I've never used this, so I can't tell you how it works, but my understanding is this is cheaper than going into the clinic. Avoid unnecessary supplements and fad diets. The supplements can really get us, and those supplements are not cheap. And I, for one, I do question now how efficient they are. I take them, but I also do question how efficient they are because we can't tell. We have no way of telling if they're efficient, if they're useful. And so it's like, how do we know? We keep buying them. So don't go buying a bunch of supplements. Focus more on eating really good, eating healthy. I know there's an argument to be made for how healthy our food is, even the organic ones, because our soil is what it is. But be mindful of what you are taking. If you're taking a vitamin, if you're taking a multivitamin, you may not need the additional. If you take a look at the back of your bottle, see how much the percentage it covers for each vitamin. Sometimes it's just 50% of what you actually need. Your vitamin B, vitamin. Listen, I'm both. Okay, Nigerian American, both. So take a look at the back of the bottle. You may need to actually get you additional vitamin B, or you may need to not buy additional vitamin B because it covers it all. I'm telling you, I go in and out, vitamin. So take a look at your supplements. You may be just wasting money buying all those supplements. You probably don't need it. I'll tell you one thing I don't buy, and I know some people swear by it, that whole hair, nail, and whatnot supplement. I don't. I'm on the fence. I'm thinking, should I buy it because my hair is not actually the healthiest. But I'm thinking, eat right and your hair will be fine, right? So just double check. You may not need to be buying all the supplements. Same with diets. All this fat diets is guaranteed to cost you money. That's for sure. So, and it's that time of the year where we jump onto diets and waste money on all this groceries. You can't be going from diet to diet. How about you spent all this year's diet and what will work, right? Let's plan something that actually works. You now realize you can't cut off all your carbs because you can't survive it. So maybe we should just stick to portion control, So a good way to cut back your expenses is to limit your supplements and the fat diets you get on. Consider community centers for free or low cost fitness programs. They may be a better price than your gym. So if you must sign up for the gym, if you must go to the gym, compare the rates. It may be a lot cheaper than your traditional gym. Take advantage of free health screenings and clinics whenever they roll into your neighborhood, your community, your street, your workplace, your schools, any of that. Take advantage of that. It's a good way to check yourself out without paying for it. Avoid payday loans or high interest credit cards. Payday loans are just, it's not worth it. You would rather deal with the consequence, except food, right? Listen, if you have kids, no food in the house, then I understand. But before I hit payday loans, I'm checking out all the churches and charities that have and food pantries that have free food to offer. I see no reason why anyone should feel shame in getting free food. Heck, for me too. Listen, the other day I was just thinking, you know what? I really need these grocery bills down. Perhaps I should stop by one. There's a church here that offers free groceries, whatnot. Perhaps I should stop by too because I think, why not? Why not? It's just sometimes guilt, right? I feel like I'm taking it from someone who actually really, really needs it. But let me tell you, the moment whatever happens, God forbid, but whatever happens, we can't afford groceries, there's no shame. I see no shame in even using food stamp. I'm paying for it. So why would I be ashamed when I need it? So there's no reason, all this to say, avoid payday loans. You're only shortchanging your future self, right? You're only making it worse because in the future, your paycheck that's already not enough this month is worse next month because now you've even eaten into it, because not only have they already taken out of that paycheck, but you're paying interest and you're paying fees. So if the light is going to get cut off, use candles and hold on, then taking payday loan and getting the fees and all, right? And if it's not for essential, i.e. light bill, water bill, food, what the heck? Avoid payday loans and high interest credit cards, period. Use cashback apps and website for online shopping. I will tell you right now, I do not like anything that has to attach. I think I've said it. Anything that has to attach to my system to watch my shopping. I'm sure a lot of things already have cookies, but to actually put something on my browser, I'm not comfortable with it, but I know some people are. And so feel free to use them. I always have to give a disclaimer if it's not something I would use. I like giving a disclaimer. But I know some people have no problem with it because everything has cookies these days. And who cares if they're watching that I buy XYZ from the store or what I do online, because I don't do crazy things online. So that may be you and you may be fine with it. So it's a good way to reduce your expenses as well, is using those rewards and cashbacks that they offer, cashback apps that they offer. I stick to just cashback from my credit card, and I use my credit card for things that I have to pay for anyway and use the cashback from that. Learn basic DIY skills for home repairs. This is where my husband has saved us a lot of money, but he does this too. For a lot of things, he uses YouTube. He would YouTube videos on what he needs to get done. He just repaired our dryer the other day, a few months ago. He's never done it in his whole life, right? He YouTube the video, found out what was wrong with it, opened up the dryer, fixed it, and we're good. That saved us, I wonder how much that saved us, at least $200. So DIY and learning how to DIY a lot of things will save you a lot of money. And YouTube is a wonderful, wonderful resource for that. Avoid social pressure to spend on unnecessary stuff. If you can just get this, you will probably slash 50% off your spending. The social pressure, the thinking that there is pressure. No one is putting pressure on you. You are putting pressure on yourself. You are grown enough to say, hey, it's my money. I wake up every morning when I don't want to get this money. You will not tell me how to spend it, right? Spend your money on where you want to spend. So you don't end up spending in places that don't make sense. Just because everyone is when, now you have to buy it so you can also, or just because everyone is using the cup, now you have to pay $50 for cup. Makes no sense. Stop it. Use free budgeting and financial resources online. AI is a good one, and I'll be doing a video on that. Can we use AI for our budget to figure out the best budget for our money? If you plug in your expenses and your income and see what it would advise to do. Or once again, YouTube videos, or of course, be very careful with who you listen to online for financial advice, which is a reminder, Loveth is not an expert. Use the information as you may. Be very careful with who you follow and who you listen to and the financial advice you get online. But just listening online will help you in learning different ways to manage your money, right? You get to learn different ways to pay down debt, different ways to save, right? So use free resources. Heck, Excel worksheet is a simple way to budget daily life problems. Excel worksheet is a good one to use. It's for free. You don't have to buy a special course, or you don't have to buy a special product online to budget your money, or that's simple, paper and pen. Right? So use free resources that are already available to us for your financial planning. Clutter and sell unused items. The cluttering, first of all, will put you in a mood where you never want to buy one more thing you do not need because you see how much you are wasting and you've wasted. And two, when you do sell, you end up making money from what you just have sitting around the house. Avoid comparing yourself to others. I think this is where we feel the pressure, the societal pressure, even though there isn't, right? Okay, there is some because there's an expectation when you're of a certain age of what you should have and where you should get to, and some is warranted. It's right, at a certain age you should have put in enough work where you should have this basics, get that part. But most of the time this pressure we're feeling is from us because we're comparing ourselves to others, right? Avoid doing that and focus on you. What is your plan for the future? What is, at the end of this year, where would you like to be financially? How much would you like to have saved? How much would you like to have cleared if you owe any debt? And if you don't owe any debt, how do you plan on growing your money this year? How do you plan on protecting the money you already have this year, right? Focus on that and don't care about what others are doing. Come summer, we're going to see a lot of things, right? Right now, everyone is at home because it's cold. But come summer, everyone is going out. Everyone is going vacationing. Don't compare yourself to them. Don't compare yourself to everyone else. Focus on you, right? What you've decided to vacation this year, what you've decided to do this year, right? And that will keep you from overspending. Plan errands so you're efficient with your driving, with your gas. An extreme case, if your car is costing you a lot of money, i.e. your monthly payment and the amount of gas it consumes, you may consider selling the car and getting you a cheaper option. If you have a cheaper option, I'm not for buying a $3,000 clunker that would end up increasing your monthly expense for car repairs. I'm talking if you have one of those high-end cars that has a huge monthly payment, or you weren't, so financially savvy at the time that you got your car, and so you got the super high expensive car, and now you have what, $500 car monthly payment or $1,000. I'm shocked at the stories I hear from TikTok. Then it's wise to go ahead and sell that car and get you something cheaper, a cheaper $10,000 car, a $12,000 car that would have a monthly payment of 100 and something or 200 and something, rather than the car you currently have. Drive less aggressively to save money. This is what Loveth is doing this year. Heck, I've been doing it since last year because the last thing I want is $100 and something ticket, because I was rushing, and now the cup has slowed me down even more. I have been speeding, but I had that in mind. Every time I remind myself, I'm like, slow down. It's not worth it. We would rather be 5 minutes late than get a ticket of $100 and some because the speeding is not five. We're talking 10 over. You know what I mean? We're really speeding. So drive less efficiently, drive less aggressively to save money. Mhm. And also, it's better on your car. Take note of the gas stations with the cheaper gas. For me here in Omaha, it is Metro Gas, I think is what it's called. It's green with a green M. That is my gas station all the time. But I've even gotten into a bad habit of not comparing their price. I've just assumed that they're always the cheapest because when we moved here, they seem to be the ones with a cheaper gas, and so we stick to them. And so if my tank is running low, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Metro. So take note, or if you have the apps, then use that to shop around for a good, the right gas station that would have cheaper gas. I just go with, I've taken note of who has the cheapest gas in my area, and they're my people. That's where I go for my gas all the time. Sustainable living. How does this save you money? Well, you're about to find out. Use reusable items rather than disposable ones. This way, you're not buying over and over because you buy one time and you reuse. So, DIY household cleaners and personal care items. You may not use all this gadgets and creams and lotions. Listen, those 20-step face routine or 10-step night routine, face cleanse, whatnot, makes no sense to me. Has never made sense to me. Probably because I'm an older millennial. It just, and probably because I'm lazy at night. I want to do 10 steps. Makes no sense. You may not need all these things, all this the cleanser and then the molder and the shaker and then the peeler and then all. Just keep in mind marketing. Does your body need it? Does your skin need it? Or is it a marketing making you think you need everything, all these different products for the same face? Now, same with makeup, same with skincare, same with clothes, same with everything, hair care, everything. You don't necessarily need all these different products. My eyeshadow right now is my blush. We've talked about using water bottles instead of buying drinks. Not only does it save your wallet, it also saves the planet. But most of all, right now for this video, we'll focus on saving your wallet. It saves you money. Having to use your cup that you've paid all that money for, your bottle you've paid all that money for, and put a drink in it while you're heading out of the house rather than buying a drink. Avoid using single-use plastic. We have this all over the place. And yes, the convenience of it all. And every now and then you probably will because, hey, we can't help it. Life is life, right? But as much as you can, avoid single-use plastic. I think with snacks and with drinks, for my life, that's where it comes in. With snacks, with drinks, with cleaning supplies. What else? What else? Just try to be mindful of the purchases you make. Participate in community swaps. I recently joined a group on Facebook, new to me. Just a few months ago, I joined a community on Facebook. It's called the Buy Nothing Share Some. I think it's just Buy Nothing group. Yeah, Buy Nothing group on Facebook, and I think it's nationwide. I think every state, most states have this group where whatever you don't need, you just put that on and say, hey, if you're interested in this, here you go. Most of the time, by the time I log on, someone has already grabbed what I want because I'm not on there all the time. But it's a good way to get you something you need without paying for it, and it's a good way for you to also get rid of what you don't use in your house, right? So look up on Facebook and join a Buy Nothing group. Also, the thrift store. Now, I'm no longer talking about thrift store for clothes unless if your thrift store has a lot of nice stuff. Over the last few years, when I go to the thrift store, to be honest with you, I don't find clothes. I don't even bother looking for clothes because one, the quality of clothes we have now is not the type you can resell and wear, and two, the prices on the at the thrift store it doesn't compare anymore. If I have to buy a top for $4 at the thrift store and I can buy the same top or similar top for $8, or I'm sorry, not $8. That doesn't make sense. For $6, right? That $2 difference is not worth my time going through the rack trying to find. So I no longer advocate for thrift store for grown-up clothes. For the kids store may be better if they're super young. Yes, I think you will still save money, but once they've hit that age where they do a lot of playing and the knee is no longer stays clean, then I don't think it's worth it. But thrift stores are great for other stuff, household stuff. I bought s'mores maker for the kids from there. Purchases that wouldn't make sense for me to shell out a lot of money, but it makes sense for memory's sake. It's a good way to save money. I bought bread pans from there, cake pans for pennies, compared to what I would pay at the store. I think I paid only $2, $3 compared to $12 at the store. So the thrift store is still a great place, regardless of your income. I think it's still a great place to buy house, or maybe not regardless of your income. Keep it for those of us who want to save money. It's a great place to buy things you need that you don't necessarily want to shell out a lot of money for. Good way to cut back your expenses. Get into the habit of holding on to everything, your phones, your gadgets, as long as they're working. That's what it used to be until this company started selling to us that we need to buy the newer version or the better version. And here's a hack. Whatever comes out, whatever is new, just hold on, because the 2.0 is always better. Or because of competition, a better option will be coming out later. So just get into the habit of what you have. As long as it's working, you hold on to it. Use free apps instead of paid one. See if you'll be fine with that. And then if you absolutely must, and if you need, then you go ahead and pay for the paid version. Chances are you may be just fine with the free version. This goes without saying. Cancel unused subscription. Cloud space. Some of you may have free or additional space if you have other services. For instance, let's see, your Amazon. Amazon, I think, has some sort of storage, cloud storage. You may not know that. You may be paying for your Amazon Prime and then buying additional cloud storage. Meanwhile, your Amazon Prime gives you storage as well. So go ahead and cancel unused apps, unused subscription. And then for the apps that you do have, read up on it, read up the benefits, read up what they have to offer, because sometimes you sign up for things like Amazon Prime membership, and your purpose for signing up is just one thing. Meanwhile, it has all this additional benefits. Or your credit cards. For those of you who have a credit card, your credit cards may come with additional benefits, but you never took time to actually read into it, because you were just focused on getting a card. But take time to read what benefits you have, other things they have to offer, and you may realize that you're paying for something you already have. Sell old gadgets, phones, tablets, iPads that you have. Now, if you're like me, you are going to make sure you've wiped that whole thing clean of every personal information, but go ahead and sell it, because chances are you've been holding on to it thinking, I will use it. If this one breaks, I have backup. And I hear you, maybe keep one. But if it's been how many years and you haven't actually used it, then go ahead and just sell it. If what you have breaks, you would buy a new one. You could heck sell it and hold on to that money. And if and when what you have breaks, then you can go ahead and buy a new one, which would even be a better version than what you currently have. Consider buying refurbished gadgets instead of new ones, especially if you're buying on Amazon. When you're about to pay or when you're looking at the price, it has the option for used. Sometimes it's not even used, it's just that it was returned, and so the package was open and it's not necessarily used. And if it's refurbished, that means it's refurbished to meet the required standard, so you're not really losing anything, but you save money. I see it as a wonderful option, except when the price for the used is only, say, $2 less than the new. Then heck, give me the new. But if there's a significant difference, then I don't mind going for the used, which a lot of times is just a return. This is a good time to shop around for your internet and your phone provider for cheaper options. Chances are you've been on your current plan for some time, and so there are probably better and cheaper options out there. This is a good time to search for that. Also, remember, you can repair your gadgets rather than buy. And like we've said many times, avoid extended warranties on phones and gadgets. It's a waste of time, especially whenever I get warranties for 3 years, 5 years, then I know chances are this is only going to last for that number of years. They know it's good for 5 years, and after that, things start breaking down. So what's the point of getting the warranty anyway? So we're not yet up to 100, and that is because a lot of other things that I saw online that would help you save money or cut back your expenses, or things that I think in reality it's not possible. It makes sense in theory, but in reality, one, is not likely because that's not how we live, or it's not worthwhile, or it's not worth the time, or it's not something I think anyone would do, right? But I'm still going to list it out because it may help you out. But just so you know, this is my disclaimer. All right, beginning with the very first, which is to carpool with friends and co-workers. Uh, Co-workers, mainly co-workers. Yes, this will save you money because you're not driving, and therefore you're saving your gas, which means your gas will last longer, which means you're not buying gas as often, which ends up saving you money. But the question is, how many of you would carpool with your coworkers? I know I won't. I will not, because I don't like coworkers when I was working, but just because I don't want anyone to be on me about time. I drop my kids off and I get to work when I get to work, and I leave when I want to leave work after my work hours, right? I'm not waiting on someone, and there's no work drama. There's no headache about, well, you're late, you made me late. So realistically, I don't think this is likely. But if it is for you, it saves money. I think this is more likely with friends. If you're going somewhere, you pick them up and then you go together. Although still, lovers would go, no, I like to be able to leave when I want to leave. Using public transportation instead of owning a car, rubbish. Unless you live in a big city. If you live in a big city, then I don't think we need to tell you this, but most of America, we are very car dependent where we live. And so we need our car to go to the grocery shop. I hate it. I wish we had more walkable lifestyle, but since zoning is what it is, so yes, if you can use public transportation, but most of us here in the States, I don't think this is a realistic expectation. Bike or walk for short trips. Quit smoking to improve your health. I think you already know this. If you smoke, you already know how much it costs you, and this is being preached every single day. So you already know this. I don't think I have to mention it, and that's why it wasn't mentioned. Cut back alcohol consumption. Alcohol is expensive. I don't know how you guys, like when I see the price on some of these drinks at the store, I'm like, who is buying this, right? That will save you money, or reduce how much you buy, right? Maybe go once a month. If you usually do every week, maybe every other week. Greatly split whatever you're doing in half, and that will save you money. Limit caffeine. The heck? Caffeine is what helps us stay on point, right? Caffeine is what helps us stay in a happy place to not overspend. If we quit caffeine, now we have to buy. Anywho, I think in general will be expensive caffeine. If you're doing Starbucks or if you're doing those expensive drinks and wherever you're going to do the expensive drinks, then yes, cut this back to save money, not cut caffeine. Have your caffeine. There's a lot going on earth. Have your caffeine. I know I have saved you a lot of money. And like I said, throughout the year, feel free to come back in here and watch this to give you more ideas on how to cut back. And let me know how you're cutting back. If I haven't listed any of it out of all this 100, if I haven't listed what you do, then go ahead and let me know in the in the comments below. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.